Have you ever told a little white lie and then felt a bit off? Or maybe you bought something expensive on a whim, and then spent the next hour convincing yourself it was a brilliant purchase. If that sounds familiar, you've experienced a fascinating psychological phenomenon called cognitive dissonance. It's a fancy term for a really common human experience. The mental discomfort we feel when we hold two or more contradictory beliefs, values, or when our actions clash with our beliefs. Think of it like mental static. Your brain craves consistency. It wants your actions and your thoughts to be in perfect harmony. When they're not, it creates this internal tension, this cognitive dissonance, and your brain will do some pretty amazing gymnastics to resolve it. The classic theory comes from psychologist Leon Festinger, who first described it back in the 1950s. He and his colleague conducted a now famous experiment. They had participants do a mind-numbingly boring task, turning pegs on a board for an entire hour. Afterward, they asked the participants to lie to the next person waiting, telling them the task was actually fun and exciting. Here's the twist. They offered one group of participants just $1 to tell the lie, and another group $20. Now you'd think the people who got paid more would be happier, right? But when they were later asked to rate how enjoyable the task truly was, something surprising happened. The group that was paid only $1 rated the boring task as significantly more enjoyable than the group that got $20. Why? Cognitive dissonance. The $20 group had a clear justification for their lie. They could tell themselves, well, I lied, but I got paid $20 for it. It was worth it. Their action, lying, and their belief, the task was boring, didn't create much conflict because the money explained it away. But the $1 group, they were in a bind. $1 wasn't a good enough reason to lie. So they had this big clash. I believed the task was dull, but I just told someone it was fun for almost no reason. The dissonance was strong. To reduce that uncomfortable feeling, their brains did something clever. They couldn't change the fact that they had lied, but they could change their belief about the task. So, they unconsciously convinced themselves that, you know what, maybe the task wasn't so bad after all. Maybe it was kind of interesting. They changed their attitude to match their behavior, resolving the dissonance. This happens in our daily lives all the time, in big and small ways. Let's talk about buyer's remorse. You splurge on a new gadget. As soon as you've paid, a wave of doubt washes over you. Was this too expensive? Did I really need it? Maybe the other model was better. This is cognitive dissonance in action. Your belief, I should be financially responsible, is clashing with your action, I just spent a lot of money. To resolve this, you might start seeking out positive reviews of your new gadget, focusing on all its great features. You'll tell your friends how amazing it is. You're not just trying to convince them, you're convincing yourself. You are re-justifying your purchase to make your action align with your belief that you're a smart shopper who makes good decisions. Another common example is habits. Let's say a person knows that smoking is bad for their health. That's a firm belief, but they continue to smoke. That's a conflicting action. This creates significant dissonance. To cope, they might try a few different strategies. They could change their behavior and quit smoking, which is the healthiest option, but often the hardest. Or, they might change their belief. They could downplay the risks. The science isn't totally conclusive. Or my grandpa smoked his whole life and lived to be 90. They might even add a new belief to justify it, like smoking helps me relax and manage stress, so it's actually good for my mental health. All of these are mental tactics to reduce the discomfort of knowing you're redoing something that goes against what you know is right. It also plays a huge role in our commitments and our sense of group identity. Think about joining a club or a team that has a really tough initiation process. It's called effort justification. The belief is, I'm a sensible person who doesn't waste my time. The action is, I went through a difficult and unpleasant process to join this group. To resolve the dissonance between the effort and the outcome, you're likely to value your membership in that group much more highly. You'll tell yourself, it must be a fantastic group if I was willing to go through all that to be a part of it. You inflate the value of the group to justify the effort you put in. So, how do we deal with this? The first step is simply awareness. Recognizing when you're feeling that mental static can be incredibly powerful. When you feel that pull to justify a decision or an action, pause and ask yourself why. Are you genuinely happy with your choice? Or are you just trying to quiet the dissonance? For example, if you find yourself in a job you dislike but are telling everyone it's great, recognize that dissonance. Instead of doubling down on the lie, you could explore the conflict. Maybe you can't quit right now, but you can acknowledge your feelings and start making a plan for the future. You could take a course, update your resume, or start networking. This is a much more constructive way to resolve the dissonance than simply trying to convince yourself you're happy when you're not. Cognitive dissonance isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's a fundamental part of our mental wiring that pushes us toward consistency. It can be a powerful motivator for positive change. When you feel that internal conflict because your actions aren't aligned with your values, it can be the catalyst you need to change your behavior for the better. It can push you to quit that bad habit, apologize for a mistake, or work harder towards a goal you truly believe in. The key is to listen to that signal. Don't just automatically try to silence it by changing your beliefs to fit your actions. Instead, use it as an opportunity for self-reflection. Ask yourself, is my behavior out of line with my core values? If so, what can I do to bring them back into alignment? Sometimes, the most powerful way to resolve cognitive dissonance is not to change your mind, but to change your actions, and in turn, change your life. It's a fascinating lens through which to view human behavior, both in others and in ourselves. The next time you catch yourself fiercely defending a questionable purchase or rationalizing a bad habit, take a moment. You might just be witnessing your brain's clever and very human attempt to restore harmony in the face of cognitive dissonance. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this dive into the human mind interesting, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos exploring the psychology of our everyday lives. See you in the next one.